Welcome, welcome to Freaked Out with your psychic medium host, Liz. That is me. Today is actually a surprise video. No one really knew this one was coming. It was actually an idea of Landon's. He was thinking, why don't you do a video on reincarnation? And I was like, you know what? We're going to do a full, blown little mini series about life after death in general. And although I've covered reincarnation on, TikTok, I figured why not cover this all here so that you have one place to go with all the answers. Now, if you do have any other questions in relation to what we talk about today, you can drop them in the comment section because I am making like a part 2, a part 3, because there's a lot to talk about. As much as this case is in relation to unsolved cases, we do like to try to have some fun as well. And I'm trying to bring some lighter content as well. Landon and I are going to have a Vanderpump episode ready for you in the next few days as well. So you can expect that too. It's actually a really funny episode and I can't wait to share. We will also be covering The Weekend and the Titanic as well. So expect to see those here very soon too. Okay, so right now we're going to cover the top 10 questions that people ask about life after death and how it all works. So we're going to talk about everything that I know and share knowledge with you guys. So first question is what happens immediately after we pass away? People wonder if there's like a transition or a time frame, a review of life, or if it's just darkness. Well, I have the answers for you. First things first, obviously dying. As we die, we slip into this new mode, and mostly people see light. Some people see water. Some people do see darkness. Really depends on you as a person. Once we go through that initial stage of death, it truly depends the kind of life that you have lived and how you passed away. If you died in a natural way, you're going to basically go, collect your $200 and head right up to those gates, especially if you were a good person. If you died in an accidental death, that might take you a little bit more time where you're going to try to figure things out. When we die, our memories aren't completely there. It takes a minute for us to kind of reabsorb what just happened. And when that happens, we try to figure out what exactly happened. And like I said, when it comes to accidental death, we take a minute to see what's going on, check on our loved ones, and then carry on. Now, when it comes to like murder, the most unnatural ways of death, that might take somebody a lot longer to transition, to go through that transition, because there's a lot of questions and there's a lot of answers, and then there's a lot of healing involved as well. A lot of people, when they've been murdered, tend to stick around with our people that are still alive a lot longer than, let's say, an uncle who passed away of cancer was very aware and headed up. So everyone goes through a transitional period, which is why I tell people I do not like channeling spirits for at least a month. I don't mind doing predictions. I don't mind looking at things, but communicating directly with them, I really like to give them that time because it is a very busy time and the busiest time a spirit will ever have. We do get shown a review of our lives, and depending on what we did in that life determines what they show us. If you've been someone who have made a lot of mistakes, they're going to show you those mistakes. They're going to check if you have any remorse on that. And by they, I mean the higher power. When you do go through those emotions and have empathy for those moments, they usually let you pass into the next stage, which is heaven or hell. And there are many interpretations of heaven and hell. It isn't just biblical. I only use the words heaven and hell. It's because it's like the biggest words used, but ultimately it's a safe haven, a good place. Everyone, and I mean everyone, is equal. There is no billionaires. There are no celebrities that are above us. Everyone is on the same status. Do some of us have really special jobs? Absolutely. But it doesn't make us better than somebody else, unlike the ranking here on Earth. When it comes to the bad place, we'll talk about that a little later. After you've gone through the transition and head off to the good place, you're usually surrounded by family members and friends and whomever else is on the other side waiting for us. Some of them do come through while we're passing. That does happen. If you have like a soulmate or a child or a parent that you were so connected to in life, they may help us through that transitional period. If not, there are other spirits that are like guides, our guides to be exact, that help us through that stage as well. We're not alone through this. We may die alone, technically, but when we get to the other side, we are not alone unless we want to be. Now, I know I answered this question sort of in the first answer, but there's more information on it. But do we see our loved ones as soon as we die? Even our pets? And the answer is yes. If those family members have not reincarnated, and most of the time, if you have a genuine loved one that is on the other side, they will wait. Most of our spirits wait for us. Now, if you had no family and no one there for you, and you had nothing and no one, then perhaps maybe no one's going to show up. Maybe one or two people will show up just to be like, hey, but it depends on us. And there are people as well, like, let's just say you had a really bad relationship with your mom, and your mom sees her ways. And if it was like a terrible relationship, she may come and see you and be like, look, I fucked up. I'm sorry. There's also a lot of that. It's kind of like an airport in a sense. We get off the plane and we sit in an airport type of thing, waiting for our people. And if we don't have people, we have animals and our spirit guides there to bring us over. Now, is there a heaven and a hell? And the answer is yes. There are technically 3 places: the transitional place, heaven, and hell. And again, I don't believe it's called heaven. I believe the name is something that doesn't even exist here. It's like, all I know is that there are gates. A lot of people see gates, and there is a gate, and it's golden and white and sparkly and light around it, but there's this gold writing, and all I can see is the letter S, and that is our safe haven. And once we cross over into the gates, we then mesh with everyone else there. We can see familiar faces. We will see people that never came to be. For instance, if you've had like a child, like a miscarried child, that miscarried child will be there. It's like this gorgeous land. There are no boundaries. There are no countries. Everyone is connected to everyone. We all have beautiful homes. They're basically magical in a sense. That's how I can explain it. But there are just mounds and mounds of peace. If I look at what it looks like from what I've been shown and told, Oz. Oz. That's the vibe I get. Of course, not the crazy evil shit in Oz, but it's just that kind of energy with everyone just being happy and loving. And they're, even with the higher powers, because there are higher powers, they don't treat the people that have died as if they are above them either. Now, when it comes to the hell side of things, a lot of people are confused on how that works, and we're going to go over that now. When we have, let's just use this as an example, people who violate children, people who murder, people who are in charge of murdering people, like murder for hires or corporate evilness, If you have done some really bad things to some people, then you could potentially go down there. Now, the good place gives you the option to find remorse while they show you your story, but most of the time, these people have no remorse. And it isn't like a lie. They can't lie. They have to genuinely show them remorse. There is no way out of it. And, you know, the cool thing about the other side is that if, let's say, somebody did want to lie about something, lies are not an option there. Now, can spirits lie to people here? Yes, they can. But that is only people in the transitional period. But we'll talk about that later too. With hell, it is your own hell, basically. You, yourself, whatever you did is going to come back on you tenfold. So if you raped and murdered 10 children, you're going to be raped and murdered day in and day out, hurt. Doesn't matter if you spend time in jail for your crimes or not. If you have hurt or abused, if you have killed somebody, killed anyone, you're going to wake up and be killed every single day in the same way or more gruesome. It is eternal damnation, and you're there for a long time. Now, can people leave? Is there like an end of their sentence? If that person shows remorse, they get the option to come back and do it again. That's kind of how that works. There's a lot more to it than that, but this is basically the generalization of what happens there. And because there is no time, it feels like eternity. Let's say a day passes here. It could be moving slower over there. Time moves very slow in hell. Okay, so now let's talk about those people that have made questionable decisions in their life. By questionable decisions, I'm referencing evil people that have hurt others, not in self-defense, maliciously. They will be given the same opportunity as we are to go to the good place. And if we show that remorse, we are given an opportunity. They'll basically tell them, you need to prove yourself again. And they'll put them back here. Then they'll automatically be reincarnated. And I know what you're thinking. Oh my God, we're going to put this bad, evil person back in. They will have those evil things that they had happen from the past life basically erased. They may have some memories that pop in, pop out, but it'll be up to them to make a better life for themselves. This is the test. Life is a test, one big test. And when we get to an elderly age and we're suffering and dying, we're going to be rewarded with life after death in a peaceful way. Here's a really good question. Do you need to be religious in order to go to the good place? And the answer is no. In fact, religion is man-made. Religion has none of what religion is claiming today. We don't hate amongst people. Even in the Bible itself, there are genuine lessons that are trying to be formulated, regardless of how outdated it is. But there are good parts of the Bible, and then there are bad parts of the Bible. You can tell that there were different people, obviously, making this book. The Bible isn't all bad, but it is exactly that, man-made. Nobody, and I mean nobody, not even me, knows what's truly on the other side, even with the glimpses I get. So if you feel like you need to hold on to a religion just to get on the other side, it isn't true and it isn't needed. You will be accepted if you're trans, gay, even pedophiles and murderers, let's just use them for a moment. If the pedophile has these terrible thoughts, but never acted on it, he can get up there and reclaim and fix it. You've passed the test. You can come into the kingdom. You didn't act on your urges. Good for you. The next time, they'll give you a better life. Do we keep our identity, our ego, our personality after death? That is a really good question. Usually, our personalities are always there. It doesn't matter what life we're in. We are still our same person. Our name might change. Our gender might change. But all of those things will not change until the next life. But your spirit is still you. And there will always be bits and pieces of you that go through each life. Now, here's another question. Can the dead communicate with the living? I'm a big believer. I've been doing this for years, thought I was crazy at first, but yeah, it's possible. And you don't even need to be a medium to get those signs from spirits. It could be as easy and simple as you're going through a really rough time in your life and a sign gets dropped on your lap. That sign is from your spirits, whoever they may be. Somebody who has had a close call to death is also going to be someone who can see things a lot easier on the other side. There's also different interpretations. I tend to see things on the positive side. I see the white light side of things. There are others that see things on the darker side. I have been working and developing my darker side for the last couple of years, working on cases, but it's still not easy for me. And I don't always see the darkest piece of the case. I'll see the happy parts of the case first, if you know what I mean. I have to dig real deep to get those very difficult details. Is reincarnation real? Absolutely. And some of us do it, some of us don't. I know a lot of people say things like, I would never want to come back to this life. Maybe the life that you currently have, you won't want to come back to. But life in general is looked at as a gift for you to make your own life, your own opportunity to experience. Although heaven is amazing and there's a lot of wonderful things in there, it's also so good that there's no drama in a sense. And people, humans, spirits, tend to want to have those challenges, which is why life is so challenging. So you may not sign up to be a middle-class citizen making not a lot of money. You might sign up to be a person who works with animals, chasing giraffes. It doesn't mean you're going to have the same life. Most of us do come back. Most of us want to come back. We are assigned a life. Now, when we are assigned that life, we have a death date given to us. We have the reason we're going into this life, which there could be many, many different reasons. We're also given the opportunity to come back quickly, whatever the case may be. And then we go into this life forgetting this contract. Now, I do want to mention that the contract doesn't always go as completely planned. If it's like more of a natural death, then absolutely. Things like that are going to still happen. But murder, specifically, isn't really something that's supposed to happen. So those deaths, that's why we have so much tragedy. Those things are not supposed to happen. But yes, sadly, kids with cancer, they may put somebody who has had like a very wealthy life, came to earth, had money, had no issues. Maybe they were unhappy. Maybe they committed suicide. Maybe they didn't see what they were supposed to see. And they'll get put back on earth as a child who has cancer. And then that spirit will learn, wow, This is what it's like to walk in these people's shoes. It's all complicated, but it does all connect in some way. We are going to do a full video talking about everything in relation to reincarnation, but this was just a taste for today. Now, this is for my people who have fear of death. What does it feel like to die? When it comes to death, there's always going to be pain. But once you get through like 60%, like you're 60% gone, those feelings will no longer be felt. It's more like warmth or cooling. It depends on the person. If you're somebody who gets very hot very easily, you're going to feel a cooling sensation. If you're someone who gets cold very easily, you're going to feel a warm sensation. Me, I don't do well with cold, period. So I would feel a warm sensation. And your soul kind of lifts from your body. And we do see ourselves in that state. Most of us, though, don't remember that moment. That is kind of like lost in the winds. You only remember that whilst going through the transition of death. And once you've kind of moved on from your family, a lot of us stick around. Some of us even stick around to the point of like funerals, and they'll wait for that. Pain does go away, and you start to feel like your younger self, which is always a good thing. What is the judgment or review of life like? I'll tell you. When it comes to the judgment or review of life, it's like a movie. So you're sitting there basically watching a large screen of your life. Is it going to be your entire life? No, but it is going to highlight good moments and bad moments, questionable moments, and things that we may have learned from that. And they'll look at us, the higher power, which I always see them with no faces, but I'm pretty sure that when I die, I will be able to see their faces. They show the movie and, you basically have a discussion over it, and then you carry on to the next stage. It's not like you're sitting in a courtroom and they're like, bad, you did this. Like, it's not like that. It's a very gentle movie, and really, you're the determining factor what direction you go in. And that movie does not come until we are ready for it. We have to be ready. Some of us aren't ready right away. Those people that have died due to unnatural death is not going to go see this movie right away. When we're ready, we'll go. And at that point, we'll get basically approved or denied to get into the good place. We can either continue to stay in the transitional period and or go to the good place. What is the purpose of life? Why do we have life? I've explained it a little bit in this video, but basically the biggest part of this is this. We are supposed to learn lessons. We are supposed to be able to walk in other people's shoes. That's why some people are really good at that, because they've done that for a long time. Some of us are brand spanking new and don't know how to do anything. And we tend to follow more than lead. Life is about lessons, evolving, and being a higher power ourselves. We are all here for that reason. And that is the whole purpose of life. And I know it might not make sense. It may not seem big enough, but it truly is to better ourselves so that we also can continue to have these beautiful jobs. And we get a lot of really cool jobs up there. Like we can do, there's no Grim Reaper, by the way. Like there is a looming cloud, if you will. Maybe it's a Grim Reaper. I can't see it, but it does follow people. I've seen it follow people, like people that are on the brink of death. You see this cloud kind of following along with them. But that's a job. There's also guardian angels. There's spirit guides. There's also kids, connecting with kids, picking children up from, being abused and murdered. That's a tough job too, but a lot of people do that. I can't even count all the types of jobs, but you could also apply to be a higher power too. And if you've evolved enough as a human being and you can become a higher power overall, it's pretty cool. The point of life is to grow, to grow as humans, to grow as people, to just grow. Hell, we could even be aliens if you want to, because they are also there in the good place. But that is a topic for another day. We will be back for part 2 to answer another set of questions. So if you guys have any questions based on the questions we asked today, please drop them in the comment section. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Until next time, guys, stay freaked out.